time to stick to our plan, make wise investments, control our spending, lower taxes, and make sure our fiscal situation is balanced and strong.
We will kickstart the economy and get Canadians back to work. This is our #1 priority.
If you want to create jobs and grow the Canadian economy, you have to give middle-class Canadians a real and fair chance to succeed.
Well, the federal election campaign is underway, and the leaders of the three major parties have staked out their visions for the Canadian economy. Here are some of the highlights of their economic platforms. The Conservatives promise to balance the budget this fiscal year, expand the apprenticeship job creation tax credit to a maximum of $2,500, a permanent tax credit for home renovations between $1,000 and $5,000, and continue the recently increased universal child care benefit. The NDP will also balance the federal budget. They plan to increase income tax rates on Canada's largest corporations, but cut the small business tax rate to 9% from the current 11%, and create a $15 a day national child care program. The Liberals will also balance the federal budget, cut the middle-class income tax bracket to 20.5% from the current 22%, and create a new tax bracket of 33% for annual incomes of more than $200,000. They also plan to increase CPP contributions and benefits. It's time now for the big picture. Armin Yalnizyan is a senior economist with the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives. Goldie Hyder is the president and CEO of Hill and Knowlton Strategies. And what I thought we could do is take a look at each of the party's promises. One promise, take a really closer look at it, starting with the NDP. So let's talk about this plan that they're going to have more tax on bigger companies, fewer taxes on the smaller companies. Might appeal to voters. Is it good for the economy? Armin?
Well, I'm really struck by the idea that they want to cut taxes on small businesses, because it actually applies to all businesses, not just small businesses. It applies to the first $500,000 of earnings. So it's a tax cut for all businesses, #1. And #2, between 40 and 80% of the people in the top 1% of Canada have holdings in small corporations, and that's how they shield their incomes. And that's recent work by Michael Wolfson, an income guru. And so I'm thinking they must know that. I don't know why they would be willing to spend over $1 billion on a measure that doesn't necessarily do anything other than reward a lot of rich people. So why don't we just give tax cuts to job creators if that's the goal?
And what about you, Goldie? You think this is a good idea, or agree with Armin?
I guess it depends on what you think the role of government is in creating jobs. I'm of the view that, in fact, governments have a limited ability to actually create the jobs. The jobs are created by businesses, whether large or small. So in that sense, I think it's more important to ensure that from a government perspective, we have the fundamentals right, the things on the balance sheet, if you will, in terms of balancing the books, which clearly they're all committing to do, to paying down our debt. And I do believe tax policy is going to be a very important differentiator between each of these parties in terms of how to stimulate the economy, whether it's the role of the government or the role of the businesses to do that.
But is it right to differentiate between small and large business? I mean, as Armin says, you know, they're all businesses. Yeah, ideally, a small business is going to become a big business, and then they suddenly get a tax hike?
That is all just, all of this stuff is pure populism stuff, right? Like the middle class, this notion of the middle class to me is the new soccer mom, if you will. We all talked about how to get the soccer mom vote. Now we're talking about the middle class. We want to create unnecessary rift between big business and small business. Why? They're all entrepreneurs. They're all trying to create jobs. They're all trying to create wealth. They're all trying to create prosperity in our society. So I think this idea that it's either or is a false choice. And let's not forget, none of these parties have actually released a platform. That'll come much later in this campaign. It'll be interesting to see what actually makes it into their platforms and how they're costed to ensure that they can deliver on that balanced budget.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit now about the Liberals' plan. And again, we see this sort of philosophy of distinguishing between, you know, wealthy and maybe not so wealthy, but this time on the side of personal tax, so that high-income earners would be paying more tax and so on. How about that one, Armin?
Well, what I like about it is that it's addressing the issue of inequality, but what I find really challenging about it, about all of their platforms actually, is they all say they want to balance the books and they all want to cut taxes, and yet we know the global economy is slowing, and so are our exports.
Well, they don't all actually want to cut taxes, right? I think that's hard to say when you consider both the Liberal and NDP platform, I'm not trying to be partisan here, but they're actually talking about raising taxes.
No, they're also talking about cutting taxes, Goldie. The NDP is talking about cutting small business taxes. Goldie, let me finish. The NDP is talking about cutting small business taxes, and the Liberals are talking about cutting the middle income bracket for personal income taxes. They are talking about cutting taxes,
but they're also
and it would cost a lot of money.
They're raising them at other places, right? They're balancing it off, whereas the one party's not. But take income splitting, take TFSA, take the child tax credit. These are all examples where there are clear, distinguishable positions. Income splitting is a good one, where between each one of those parties, and people will have to make a choice based on what they read and what they see about those.
You know, I agree with you, Goldie, and the thing that is the most striking about the Conservative platform, I find, is that every measure except for one widens income inequality, which is something that, in fact, the middle class trope is addressing, but in a popular way, because nobody wants to talk about income inequality. They all want to see themselves in the picture, and when you say middle class, everybody still sees themselves in that picture. It's just a way of branding something, but all the other parties are trying to do something to address income inequality, except for the Conservatives. The only part of their platform thus far that reduces income inequality is providing $60 more per family at the low end, but it does it for the high end too. So
now we heard Stephen Harper in that clip that we played in the setup to this saying, you know, sort of the stay the course, and very much playing that card of we have been the solid stewards of the economy. Do you think he is at all vulnerable on that claim, Goldie?
Well, look, I think the fact that he was rather honest in his remarks yesterday in terms of when this home tax credit would eventually, home renovation credit would eventually come about, you know, midterm of next year, suggests that there's a recognition that this economy is at least flat. And I think it's an admission that they've frankly been saying all along. They've been calling the economy volatility, going back to the time when Minister Flaherty first started talking about the volatility of the economy and the volatility of the global marketplace. All of that is born to be true. The question is, how do you raise that as a ballot question now to say, who do you trust with a $1.9 trillion economy? You know, is it the guy who's been managing it for the last 8 years, or do you give somebody else a chance? And that's what Canadians are going to have to ultimately decide.
Indeed, I think that is actually right. Do you want change or do you want status quo? And the status quo has been faltering. It's been stumbling in the last few months, in the last year or so. So the question is, if you're not changing the channel as the government of the day, if you're saying we're going to do the same thing that we've been doing all along, and oops, the economy is stumbling, and we think tax cuts and trade is the solution, and neither are
great trade numbers today. Great trade numbers today. So,
yeah,
you know, it's
but
volatile.
You know, we're still exporting less than we're importing. This is a new normal since the recession, and that's just not the way to grow the economy.
But when you say it's got to be change, you know, that at a certain point it almost seems like, do the platforms even matter? But you know what? I shouldn't ask that question because we'll have to do that another week. Thank you both so much for being here.